Alrighty, hi there, Mr. Biggers here, and today we're going to talk about Module 3, Lesson 7, the first day, parallel lines and transversals, okay? So if two lines do not intersect, they are either parallel or they are skew, okay? Now, parallel lines, I always think of railroad tracks. They run right along next to each other and they will never touch. Skew lines, though, also never touch, okay? And the difference is it's like having two lines that exist in two different planes. So I always think of like a parallel universe. Like it's not even on the same level. It's like totally different things. They might not be parallel to each other, but they're in two different existences, so they're skew lines. They're never going to touch. So parallel lines are coplanar lines, so they're on the same plane that do not intersect. So an example here is line JK is parallel. So this symbol here, we'll see it a lot. It's not 11. It's a parallel line. It means parallel. So it's a symbol we'll see pretty often here in geometry. Okay, so if you want to, I would pause the video right now and grab a few different colored pencils so you can color code your notes, okay? It makes things really easy to see. So you really have line JK here, and you know it's parallel to line JN or LM. And you know this because it has these little triangle tick marks. Those tell you if it's parallel or not. You're going to see that pretty often on diagrams. So make sure you understand that. Skew lines, we've kind of already introduced it and talked about it. They do not intersect. They do not touch. And they are not coplanar, so they are not on the same plane. Okay, so you can see an example here. We have line L, okay? I'm going to color it in green. And then you have line M. Two different planes, totally different planes. The lines, if they were on the same plane, may cross each other, but since they are on different planes, they won't. So how would we describe this? We would say lines L and lines M are skew lines. Now, parallel planes are two planes that do not intersect. Do not intersect. So these two planes are parallel to one another. Now in math, there is no term to denote a plane parallel to another plane, so you just have to list it out like a given statement. So planes A and B are parallel to each other, which means the planes will never touch. It's like holding a sheet of paper above another sheet of paper, okay? So plane A, plane B, they're parallel. So example 1 here. We are going to identify each of the following using the cube shown. We want to assume that lines and planes appear to be parallel or perpendicular, are parallel or perpendicular. Okay, it is a cube, so the definition of a cube, we haven't learned it yet in geometry, but you should know it's all right angles, so everything's perpendicular, things of that sort, okay? So all lines skew to line BC. So I'm going to go ahead and take my red pen here and identify line BC. So remember, skew lines cannot be on the same plane. So if you look here, I'm going to go ahead and show you, that's the plane that BC is on. So we can't have any lines that are on that plane. So you might want to say, well, line AD doesn't touch it. Okay, that's great. That's the property of a skew line. But if you look, AD is still contained on that plane on the top of that cube. So any line that's not, they're saying AF. So right here, those lines never touch. They're on two different planes, so they're skew. They're also saying DE, and they're also saying FG. So I want you to pause the video and see if you can find the other one that is skew. So the other one that is skew is HE. Line HE. Don't want to lose easy points, so make sure you label that. Okay. So all lines parallel to EH. Remember, parallel lines, if you look up at the definition, they have to be on the same plane. So I'm looking here, the plane that EH is on is that bottom plane. So the only other line that would be parallel to line EH would be this line, which is line FG. And then here, we want to see, is there any other plane, though? that EH is on. And if you look off to the side, there actually is. It's on two different planes. So it could also be line CD. It's parallel to line CD. And remember, not line segments, they're actually lines. That's what we're talking about. So all lines that are parallel to that. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and erase that markings there. And then part C here, all planes that are parallel to plane D, C, and H. So D, C, H is this plane at the back here. So the only plane that runs right alongside that plane is going to be this one over here. Okay, so I would say plane A, B, and G. A, B, G. Remember, you need 3 points on a plane, 3 non-collinear points to name a plane. All right? That's a lot of letters, but those are your notes for that side. Okay? We're going to go ahead and go on to page 2 now. Pause at any point if you need to get some things. This is where we're going to need some color. All right? A line that intersects 2 or more lines in a plane at different points is called a transversal. Let me read that again. A line that intersects 2 or more lines in a plane at 2 different points is called a transversal. So we can look here. We can see that we just had line R here. Line R was chilling and line Q was chilling. 2 lines just existing out here. And then we have this rude line T that just comes barging through and cuts across them. If it cuts across more than 2 or more lines, it's known as a transversal. The way I think of this is I think of like a transferring. It's transferring like line to line. I also think transcontinental railroad. It's going across the continent. Those types of things too. So 4 interior angles lie in the region between Q and R. So I always think the word interior, when you think of that word, you should be thinking inside. So when there's a tornado or a strong hurricane, the meteorologists or the TV weather people will always tell you to get into the most interior room of your home. That is the most inside area of your home. Okay, so these interior angles are going to lie between lines Q and R. Okay, so these are going to be angle 4, angle 3, angle 5, and 6 because they are on the inside of those angles. The outside angles would be the exterior. So I'm going to go ahead and list this. Angle 3, angle 4. We also have angle 5 and angle 6. Now we're going to look at the outside angles, okay, or the exterior angles. These would be angles that are not in between lines Q and R. So here you have angle 1, angle 2. You look at the diagram, you also have angle 8 and angle 7. Those are your examples of the exterior angles on the outside, okay? Consecutive interior angles. This is something that we're going to be talking about pretty often here. So consecutive, always think same side, okay? So they're same side interior angles. Consecutive means it's on the same side, one after the other, consecutive. So I think they're inside the same room, okay? So angle 4 and 5, I'm going to go ahead and mark this in green. So if you're still following with me with your colored pencil here, go ahead and pick a color and mark these. So angle 4 and 5, they are both interior angles, of course, but they're on the same side. So they're consecutive interior angles. The other option we have for that is angle 3 and angle 6, where if you look here, they are both same side interior angles. So you have 2 different pairs. So this is one pair of consecutive interior angles, and this is another pair. They're not consecutive interior with each other, though, because they're 2 different things going on. Alternate interior angles are kind of cool. They make a little Z, okay? So alternate interior is going to be, and remember, it's still inside. So it'll be on the inside part of your Z, okay? So angle 3, I'm going to label these in blue. Angle 3 and 5. If you look here, it kind of, I'm going to draw big. Don't draw this. It's going to kind of ruin the picture. but I just want you to see where the Z is. So right here is angle 5, and right here is angle 3. So it'd be on the inside of those Z's. Okay, those would be known as alternate interior angles. They're on alternate sides on the inside. So it's pretty much the opposite of consecutive interior angles, okay? The other two pairs of that would be angle 4, which is right here, and angle 6. And if you draw a Z again, you'll see here that it's on the inside of the Z, okay? So that would be your alternate interior angles. The alternate exterior angles is on opposite, as far as you can get opposite of each other. That's what I always think. All right, so angle 1, the furthest, most opposite angle from angle 1 is angle 7. You might want to say angle 8, but look at angle 8. Angle 8 is on the same side of the transversal as angle 1. So it is not the furthest possible angle, okay? So those are alternate exterior angles. They will be on, if you draw a Z or you think of the transversal as a Z, they're going to be like opposite sides of each other, okay? And then corresponding angles are going to be in the same spot. So I think of here, if I'm angle 1, and this is my little cross section here, okay, I'm angle 1. I am in the upper left quadrant, okay? So there's 4 quadrants technically here where these two lines intersect. I am the upper left. So to be corresponding, this one would also have to be in the upper left. So a corresponding angle to angle 1 is angle 5 because it's in the upper left. So if you look here, another example would be, and let me get rid of this. Another example would be angle 4. So angle 4 here is in the lower left. What corresponds with angle 4 in the lower left would be angle 8. It's also in the lower left. These are very, very, very common vocabulary words. You're going to want to make sure you know these. If you want to get more repetition with these words, I recommend copying it down on notebook paper and drawing the diagram for each of these so you have it for reference, okay? You can read this in the diagram. It tells you a little bit more about transversals and the lines, okay? So example 2, using the notes, I want you to pause the video and see if you can figure this out. I'm going to go ahead and go over it now. So if you're ready, I'm going to go ahead and start that though. So if I'm looking at angle 4 and angle 5, those, I always think here, I'm thinking in my head, kind of makes a Z, okay? They're on the little corner part of the Z. So if you look here, the corner part of the Z, that's going to be your alternate interior angles. Now, in geometry, I don't mind if you abbreviate. You can totally do that. So these are alternate interior angles. Angle 3 and angle 7. They are both in the lower, so the bottom left quadrant. If they're both in the same area as each other, these would be corresponding angles. You can use your colored pencils however you want to identify these, okay? And angle 3 and 5, I will go ahead and keep this one on. I always draw a line between them. Angle 3 and 5, if you look here, these are my two lines. They're on the inside of them, and they're on the same side. So if they're on the same side and the inside, they're consecutive interior angles. I would also take same side interior angles as an answer. So let me write in red to keep it standard. So consecutive or you could say same side. Oop. Same side interior angles. And then last but not least, we have 1 and 8. And it's super easy on those because you can see they're totally opposite of each other, which means that they are alternate exterior because they're on the outside. So alternate exterior angles. All right. So that's it for the notes. Pause, rewind, go over it if you missed anything. For your assignment, read the back. if you are taking this class in 2024, 2025, this is a Canvas assignment. You are going to have to go to Canvas to see the questions. I went ahead and put the diagrams on your notes for you, so if you need to point at things or look at it to line it up, you can. Make sure you answer correctly and submit. Hit the blue submit button to receive a grade on the assignment. Show all your work on your paper so you have it on your notes, and good luck. Thank you.